Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today I'm very excited to be bringing this video because we're going to be focusing on what the community wants to see for Year 4 content. This is a spiritual part 2 to a video I did yesterday where I took a look at the information we've gotten from the devs thus far about what content is actively not in production as of now for Year 4, as well as what hints they've given us for what we should maybe expect. And I laid out a bit of a guideline, a bit of a prediction for what content I think the devs already might have in motion, because let's not forget, Year 4 isn't taking another break. Season 10 and TU16 will be here in roughly 3 months, so stuff is underway, we just have no idea what it's going to be. So analyzing some of that, making some predictions is what I focused on yesterday, and if you'd like to hear my thoughts about any of that stuff, then I will put a link to that video up in the upper corner right now. But today, we're shifting focus to the community, because as has been communicated to us both in the Season 9 reveal stream the other week, and in the interview I was given the opportunity to do with Yannick, which you can find here on the channel if you're interested, the team at Massive is open and looking for community suggestion as for what kind of content we want to see in Year 4. They're of course not promising that every little idea or suggestion can or will be acted on, but given the community produces some cool ideas that they think aligns with their motivations and is something they can realistically do with their given resources, then they said they're more than willing to consider implementing those ideas. And so what I thought might be really fun to do today is create a kind of voting booth for the Division community. What I want to try and do is make this video's comment section a place for everybody to share their ideas and suggestions for Year 4 content, and then using the like button feature, allow that to filter in the things and ideas that people support the most, meaning that when it's all said and done, the ideas for content that are most popular amongst the community will rest at the top of the comments with the most likes. And this could be not only a super fun thing for us all to do to share our ideas, but could legitimately be a useful thing for the devs to use to see what ideas are actually most popular. Now let me be very clear. There is zero guarantee that any ideas I suggest or things you might all put in the comments will get acted on. I came up with the idea for this video completely on my own volition, and therefore the devs have zero obligation or reason to ever check any of these ideas out, let alone act on them. So just know that none of this might ever see the light of day. Honestly, that's probably the most likely scenario, but again, I thought it would be fun, and you never know what might happen. That said, here's how this video is going to go. I'm going to lay out a format that I think will be the most useful as far as presenting and consuming different ideas for content in the comment section, and while I'm certainly not going to enforce anything, I would ask that you follow this format when giving your own ideas down below. That way it makes it the easiest on all of us to read and comprehend each idea and vote accordingly. So I'm going to lay that all out for you to use if you wish, and then I will share my own pitches and ideas for Year 4 content that I think would be cool to see. You'll see my own comment down there along with everybody else's, and if you think it sounds cool, upvote it. If not, don't. I'm not trying to make my ideas seem any more, better or valid than anybody else's, but I certainly do want to participate both in showing a template for people to use, as well as because I certainly do want to share my own ideas, even if they never get acted on. So let's get into exactly how all of this is going to work. Well, I think we all, of course, have a million different ideas for what we'd like to see added to the game or what we think would be cool. We want our ideas down here to be concise and consumable for anybody reading to be able to understand. So that's why I think this sort of format is going to be most effective. If you look at this picture, and I'll circle back to and elaborate on my ideas here in a minute, this is the format that I think is going to work best, is to provide one idea for a new game mode, one idea for a rework to existing content, and then a wild card new content or change idea. Not only do I think this will help people filter out their thoughts a bit when they're writing them out, but it's also going to be the most realistic, I'd say, for what the devs have said is realistic to be added to the game at this point. Some of you are going to want to say another paid expansion like Woney. I get it, I'd love that too, but it's just not feasible right now given the amount of resources at their disposal, and they've said as much. So in this format, for example, you could say Game Mode, Survival 2.0, Rework, Kenley College, Wildcard content, more legendary missions, or Game Mode, Battle Royale, Rework, Skills, Wildcard content, more hardcore features. It can of course be whatever you want, but I do think this sort of format is going to be most effective. And also, if you don't have an idea for each of these, or maybe you don't have a Game Mode idea, or you'd rather just elaborate on one more specifically, do that. Again, I'm not here to police or enforce how people are formatting their ideas down below. I just want to encourage consumable formatting as much as I can. And then lastly, like I said before, go vote on your favorite ideas. Once you post your own comment, browse through some other people's responses. My own comment is already down there if you need a reference, as well as just to kick things off. And so whether you like my ideas or somebody else's, upvote whichever ones you want, because regardless of how many comments you upvote, eventually some of these things are going to rise higher up than others. And in a few days' time, the goal is, with this whole thing, to have a visible, clear look at what kind of ideas or content the community wants to see most in Year 4. Obviously, this will be a smaller sample size. Obviously, not everybody in the community watches my videos, but I thought it would be fun to do, and I felt a degree of responsibility to try and facilitate some of the discussion discussion around this stuff, because as Yannick said, it's up to us to communicate what kind of content we want to see added to the game, and I think this could be a really great opportunity to have that discussion and to give everybody, the opportunity for their voice to be heard. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to see which ideas get floated to the top. All right, before we close out, let me briefly run you through my own ideas earlier that I teased, just to give me a chance to elaborate as well as to perhaps inspire any of your own ideas. All right, so let's read through these, and the first one, the game mode, is actually, it has a pretty funny backstory behind it. If it doesn't sound familiar to you, it was actually a mode that somebody pitched in a fake, year 4 content leak post on Reddit, way back last year. And so everybody clowned on it, but I actually still think it sounds like a really fun game mode. And so I'll read what I wrote here. Kind of Dead by Daylight meets Friday the 13th, or Dead by Daylight / Friday the 13th meets The Division. 1 hunter versus 7 agents could be either PvE or PvP, both of them or just one of them. This feels like it could be a spiritual successor to Survival without being a direct copy. The agents start out with minimal gear and have to scavenge for supplies and weapons to fend off the hunter. The hunter has a loadout, abilities, etc., and their ultimate goal is just to eliminate all of the agents. They can perform executions on downed agents. Agents have various methods or mechanics they can engage with to try and take down the hunter, but it's going to be a huge challenge. So if you've ever played either of those two games, Dead by Daylight or Friday the 13th, you should have a pretty good idea of what this would look like. It's basically the imbalanced setup type of game. I don't know what that genre is called, but you have the hunter who is extremely powerful, huge health pool, lots of abilities, all that stuff, and then 7 agents who are very much underpowered, but of course they have the numbers, and if they work together, maybe they have a chance of taking down the hunter. Again, could be PvE where you're just fighting an AI, or it could actually be PvP where someone is controlling the hunter. I feel like this would be super cool. Would it take a lot of work? Yeah. But again, we're just sharing our wild ideas. That one's mine. I very much stole that from that leak last year. I think it would be actually really fun to have in the game and would be a huge switch up from the stuff that we're normally doing. And so I think it'd be pretty cool. For the rework then, I listed classified assignments and leagues. These two are both underperforming pieces of content in the game, in my opinion, so why not combine them into one, replace the current season league missions with the classified assignment missions as the time trials with various different and other optional objectives, make it so that selected classified assignments only become available during the league so they feel a bit more special and there's more incentive to run them, offer new rewards, league objectives, etc. This one I actually came up with pretty recently, but I think it'd be pretty cool. The leagues are something about the seasons that I rarely engage with, and I don't think they're really all that fun at this point because of how low the difficulty bar is. And at the same time, classified assignments are very underused. Yannick admitted to that himself. And so why not make it so that the leagues for the missions just take off all the classified assignments off the board from you being able to regularly go and run them, open them up to all players, and introduce them as the leagues so that once a league opens for a season, either, I don't know, there's 8 classified assignments total, so you could just say 4 of the missions open up at different difficulties, and people can go and run them with now time trials, and maybe a few different objectives. The leagues always say they have the missions, and then they're like, kill X amount of certain enemy faction, get certain amount of headshots or whatever, make those, more relevant towards the classified assignment missions themselves. And I think that'd be really cool. It's not new seasonal content because it's stuff that was already in the game, but if you make it exclusive to these league activities, I think it would make it feel a lot more special and a lot more fun. And you'd see people engage with it a lot more. And so I think that would be a cool way to do it. So yeah, that's my idea for a rework. And then last up, wildcard content, light conflict revamp. I don't classify this as another rework because it's really not, but I'll just read here. Not a full-blown rework, just a few much-needed changes. 1, restore the radar to the mode. 2, change the spawn system to allow dynamic spawns around the map. No more spawn camping. 3, normalize gear or remove gear normalization from the mode. Make it feel the same as the DZ. And 4, increase the team sizes to 6v6 or 8v8. I actually made a video on these exact changes a few months back. Perhaps you saw that one. But I really do feel like these 4 changes would drastically increase the fun of conflict. Currently, it's not in a very great state, and I think this very light revamp would very much change the game in there, no pun intended, and so that would be my kind of wild card thing that I would like to see them add in, but of course, all 3 of these things are just my idea, so if you like any of them, go ahead and upvote it in the comments below. If not, do somebody else's and be sure to leave your own. But yeah, there you go. So there you have it, guys. Those are my own personal pitches and ideas for what content I would like to see added in year 4. If you think any of those sound cool, then be sure to go and upvote the comment. If not, don't. Be sure to leave your own as well and upvote anybody else's that you think would be cool to see in the game. As I said before, I'm really excited to see this play out and see everybody's ideas. I think it's going to be a ton of fun. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe with notifications on so you can be updated every time I upload. I will not say my usual outro because I've already laid out what to do in the comments. So yeah, guys, leave your own ideas, upvote others you like. I can't wait to read them and see in a few days' time which ones rise to the top. Tune in to tomorrow's third and final part of this little mini-series. It's going to be a pretty special one. I think you'll enjoy it. So yeah, that's going to do it for me today, everybody. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and until the next one, guys, RogueGold out.